Welcome back to GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. Today is Wednesday, March 12th, if you are just tuning in. We just finished going over our Wednesday NBA Power Rankings. In this segment, we turn our attention over to baseball. Just about 2 weeks until the season kicks off. We're going to break down every single team. We're in the midst of it. We're finishing up the AL Central this week. Today, taking a look at the Minnesota Twins. We're going to talk about what they did this offseason and if they can stay healthy, what their season outlook might be. But before we do, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Or if you're on YouTube, you can use that super chat feature. If you do either of those two things, a message should pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. If you do have a burning question about sports, anything at all that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw that in the comments. Throw it in the chat. I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. I appreciate everybody so much for sticking around, talking some sports with me here on a beautiful Wednesday, March 12th. But like I was saying, we are going to get into a little bit on the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins are a very, very good baseball team. They come into this season as a team that is a big what if question, though, because up and down their roster, season after season, they cannot stay healthy. Whether that's Byron Buxton, whether that's Royce Lewis, whether that's Carlos Correa, and any of the pitching staff that has been amazing for them, they just cannot stay healthy to put together a full season of great baseball. But you look at this Twins team, and on paper, yet again, it is an excellent squad. Last season, even though they were dealing with injuries, it was arguably the least injured year in a while for them. They finished 80 and 82. And in the AL Central, usually that's good enough for at least third place, but they were fourth. A very good AL Central last year. They missed the playoffs at 82 and 80. They weren't too busy in free agency. They weren't too busy. They didn't make too many moves. They brought in Ty France, formerly of the Mariners, of the Reds. He was cut. He hasn't had his best season in a couple of years. 1 year, $1 million to play first base. He's a guy that if he can turn back the clock a little bit to 2021, 2022, he can be an excellent addition, but he was a major negative for the Mariners for a lot of last season before getting cut. I'm curious if it's going to work out. Not too much risk, not too much risk, high reward for Ty France if he's able to turn it around and play like he did at his best with the Mariners. Outfielder Harrison Bader is brought in 1 year, $6.25 million. I like that signing. A great bench bat, a guy that can come in and play solid defense, step up when you need him against righties or lefties. Harrison Bader is a guy that I think could do a lot for this squad. Add a nice little power bat, add some speed. I like Bader on a $6.25 million prove-it deal. And for the bullpen, they brought in Danny Colombe. Danny Colombe, 1 year, $3 million. All of these signings are meaningful, right? They didn't have a lot of these signings that don't mean too much. All of these guys are going to contribute to the opening day roster. All of these guys are going to come in and be a big part of what they're trying to do as they try and, get over the hump that they've been so unable to the last couple of years. They did lose a couple key pieces, though. Carlos Santana, little older, but still a nice piece, near Gold Glove level play at first base last year. Anthony DeSclafani, a solid starting pitcher. Caleb Thielbar for the bullpen. He found his house somewhere else. We talked about him a couple weeks ago. And Max Kepler in the outfield. All of these guys were big on the team last year, but basically went 1-for-1 on replacing them when it comes to free agency. Ty France for Carlos Santana, Harrison Bader for Max Kepler, and Danny Colombe for Caleb Thielbar. They still have a very, very good team, right? We're talking about a very good division, too. We've talked about the Royals, how they got better, although some scary news coming out of them with Bobby Witt getting hit by a 96-mile-per-hour pitch today. He should be good, avoided any broken bones. Not sure what the timeline is for him, though. We talked a little bit about the White Sox maybe getting worse, which would be crazy from where they were last season. But this is a division that continues to be good. The Tigers, I think, got better as well. We talked about them yesterday, but this lineup is nothing to scoff at, right? You've got Matt Wallner or Harrison Bader leading off lefty or righty, and right field. You also got Jose Miranda, who can step in there as well. Shortstop, Carlos Correa hitting second. He continues to be one of the more underrated players in the game. Going off to Minnesota doesn't do a lot for your publicity. And Carlos Correa, since leaving the Astros, I feel like he's kind of fallen under the radar a little bit. He's really good. He's going to go out, play amazing baseball, be a great hitter as well, if he can stay healthy. Same can be said about center fielder Byron Buxton, a guy that has all of the talent in the world. Every single ounce of baseball talent was put into that man. He just cannot stay healthy. He was healthy last season, wasn't his best season, played over 100 games, but he's a guy with MVP potential if he can stay healthy and get back to the way he was playing a couple years ago. In left field, you've got Trevor Larnach or Jose Miranda or Harrison Bader, depending on how you want to do this. Willie Castro can come in and play a little bit. But that is a solid outfield right there. Royce Lewis, we talked about. When he is healthy, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. Just power hitter. Home run after home run after double after home run after home run after double. He is just going to be a beast at the plate. Royce Lewis at third base, if he can stay healthy, will be a monster. And again, we keep saying that if he can stay healthy, that is the motto for the Twins. If you can stay healthy. Ryan Jeffers behind the plate hitting sixth. Willie Castro DHing Ty France, taking a swing on him, being your starting first baseman. You've also got Jose Miranda, who can come in and play first base. Brooks Lee at second. This is a really good lineup, especially the top 6, 7. This is a lineup that, again, I'm going to say the phrase again, if they can stay healthy, will be a danger in this AL Central. But it's not just the lineup you have to worry about. You have the rotation with a couple guys that can be a true ace, like Pablo Lopez at the top. He was traded to the Twins from the Marlins a couple years ago. He has been amazing. He was a part of that trade that sent Luis Arias down to Miami. Now Arias over in San Diego. But Joe Ryan behind him, as well as Bailey Ober, is a very good top 3. You've got Simeon Woods Richardson at number 4 and Chris Paddock at 5. None of these guys are bad. All of these very solid starting pitching. The bullpen, though, is really where they shine. They have one of the best closers in the game. You want to talk about a fireballer, you want to talk about a flamethrower, that is exactly what you get in Joan Duran. Joan Duran is a guy that is consistently hitting 104, has touched 105 in the past. You look at the top 10 fastest pitches thrown in the MLB last season, he's got at least 6 of them. He is that special of a guy. He is an amazing closer. He's got all the stuff you want. Duran, amazing. Griffin Jacks, no slouch in and of itself. At the setup role, Cole Sands back there as well as Brock Stewart, Danny Colombe we talked about, Jorge Alcala, Cody Funderbunk, and Luis Varland to close out that bullpen. This is a team that up and down is loaded with talent. This is a team that, if they can stay healthy, can win 90 games in a division. But again, I said it there again. You heard me, right? I can't keep saying it. If they can stay healthy. This is a team that continues to battle that injury bug. This is a team that continues to have the worst injury luck in all of baseball. Their players are just very injury prone. And it's unfortunate because you want to build the best team and you have the guys to do it. But this is a dangerous team. Again, like I said, if they can stay healthy, they win 90 games. 90 and 72 is their ceiling. But if they can't stay healthy, if they get hurt, if a couple of their guys go down for a large majority of the season, I could see them winning 80 games. So they have a very large difference. Their over-under set at 83.5 games this year. I think overall the talent here is going to push them more toward the top of that. So I'm going to sit somewhere around 86, 87 games for them. But again, not usually that 5-game difference that I give you. 10-game swing in this one because I just don't know what their health is going to be like this season. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think this team is going to look like in 2024, 2026, excuse me? Do you think they're going to be able to get over the hump? Do you think they'll win this AL Central, a very stacked division? I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we turn our attention over to the NHL. It's been a while since we talked about hockey, but they, like the NBA, are getting down to crunch time. About 15 games remaining in their schedule. We're going to talk about where the standings are right now, who's going to make the playoffs, and who could win the President's Trophy, best record in the league. We'll talk about that and more coming up next here on GSMC's Down by Contact Sports Podcast.